Happy fabulous Friday, everybody, and happy British Science Week. It is the start of British Science Week. So I'm Evie. I'm going to be hosting this session about the Young Coders competition, and we also have our lovely STEM ambassador who works in finance coding. We have Anastasia.
Hi everyone.
Let's learn a little bit more about the Young Coders competition. We are on a mission. We are looking for children around the country who think they've got what it takes to be in the Young Coders Crew 2025. Never coded, no problem. Don't know what coding is, also no problem. All you need is determination, perseverance, and some teammates to be in your crew. So, what is a coder? What do you think a coder is? What do you think a coder might do? Okay, we've got writes a set of instructions. Right, so a coder is someone who creates things using a computer. All computers need code and it can make them do anything from controlling your microwave to maybe your apps on tablet or on your phone and games that you play on your computer as well. So does this sound interesting? This is a countrywide competition looking for young people who have the skills to be crowned our Young Coders Crew for the year. The Young Coders competition is for children aged between 8 and 13 in years 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. And you can enter as an individual, so you could go home and do it with a parent, or you could do it as a team of 2 to 6 people in your STEM club or at your school. But to enter, you must create a game using Scratch and have an adult submit your entry on our website. And look, there's Scratch. You might have seen that little cat. So what can you win? We have prizes for our competition. Each winning child will get the prestige of having the Young Coders Crew title for a whole year and a personalised award to prove it. If you're in the UK, you will also receive some prize money. So this could help your school, getting you some like lovely prizes to do with technology and coding. And if you won first place for your school, you could get £200, or you could get £100 for second place, or third place, £50. So that could buy you a Bee-Bot or some sweets, whatever your school and you decide that you want. And everyone who enters will receive a participation certificate, and you'll also get feedback on your code from judges. So if you enter it and you think, oh, I'm not sure how I want to make this better, we'll have people who actually work in the coding industry giving you feedback on what they loved and what they think you could do better next time. So if you don't win the first time, you have a chance to win the next time with an even better game. So this year's theme is budgeting better. The challenge is to create a game using Scratch to teach other children about budgeting better. Imagine creating games that teach your friends how to save, spend, and manage your money wisely. Imagine building a game where your players can go and work and save up for their dream toy, go on some shopping adventures, or even start your own business. Think like a tycoon game on Roblox, whatever you want really, using Scratch. The more creative and fun your game, the better. We hope that this theme helps you make some smarter financial choices. So making sure that you are making good choices with your money, understanding that money has value, and saving for your goals. Are you ready to become a money master? Well, now's your chance. And now I'm going to pass on to our lovely finance coding ambassador, Anastasia.
Hey everyone. So my name is Anastasia. I work in an American bank called Goldman Sachs. I've been working there for 12 years, a lot of time. And I am working in Treasury Department, which is essentially responsible for all the money that bank has. Fun question. How much do you think a US American bank have?
Right, I've made it possible for people to unmute themselves, or if you want to write in the chat, let me know and I'll answer out loud so that Anastasia can hear.
What do you think? How much money American bank has?
Well, we've got someone in the chat saying billions.
Yes, it is billions. How many billions would you think? Throw a number at me. 10, 20, 15?
Somebody said 5 billion.
More.
100 billion.
More.
Hundreds of billions. Wow.
Hundreds of billions. So our bank manages at the moment 600 billion in cash. That's actual money in different currencies that's sitting in our bank accounts. And total assets of Goldman Sachs, and what the asset is, it's essentially anything of the value that the firm has and manages. This could be some financial documents, instruments, loans, anything. So how much total value, total assets the bank manages? What do you think? Just the cash is 600 billion. Any guesses?
Somebody has said, is trillion a real number?
Yes, a trillion is a real number, but it's a bit more than that. 1.5 trillion US dollars of assets is managed by Goldman Sachs. That's 1,500 billion. It's a lot of money. So let's move in and talk about what the banks are, what do they do, how they manage this stuff, and how do they make sure it's secure and safe. So what the bank do? Banks are almost like a piggy bank, but for the grown-ups, for a lot of money. What the first and primary thing they've been created for is to keep the money safe. Imagine you have cash, you don't want to lie it around in the house. First of all, you might lose it, then someone might steal it. So you put it in the bank. They keep the money safe, but also they help people save. When you give the money to the bank into your saving account, the bank returns more money to you and with time. So for example, you give bank £100 for a year and the bank returns you 110 because there is an interest. It's called an interest on it. So this way, bank helps people to grow their money. But also they make sure that their money is saved there. So, for example, you might want to keep this money, you don't want to spend it on some emotional purchases. You can put it away, lock it out, and come back to it in a year, especially if it's grown there. So the next thing the bank do is they give loans. So they give you money if you wanted to purchase something very expensive that you cannot buy outright right now. Usually these things are quite expensive. For example, your parents want to buy houses. House is very expensive thing. You might not have all the money to buy it outright, but if you pay certain amount of money every month, eventually you will have enough money. But you want to live in it right now. You don't want to save all your life of this, I don't know, £100 a month and then only get a house to live in when you are 60. You want to live in it now and continue paying this £100. That's what banks offer you. And also banks help businesses grow by helping them to manage their assets, their money, and their relationships. Sometimes they, for example, help two businesses, two firms merge together so that they can work together as a team and do better work for every one of us. So what is liquidity? Liquidity, when you think about it, it's like a liquid, a tea or cup or water or something. Not quite, but nearly. So liquidity means everything you have, and money that you have right away and can spend right away. So for example, the bank has money. And for example, you want to put the money in, but also you can take it out anytime you want. The bank needs to make sure that this £100 is available at any point if you do want to withdraw it. So, for example, if imagine you have a lemonade stand and you need £6 to buy the lemons for your lemonade stand, but you only have £5 cash, guess what? You have liquidity problem. You're short of your liquidity. Sadness. So in the bank, we cannot afford this. We always have to make sure that we meet our obligations. You cannot have a bank that you give £100 to, and then tomorrow you want to take it back, but bank says, sorry, we don't have cash, too bad. Come back again. So we need to make sure we have everything it takes to pay our clients. So how do we do that? How do you manage this liquidity? So first of all, when you do bring the money in, we invest it and make sure that it grows and works. Money can work just like people. We also don't invest the whole amount. We usually invest only part of it, and a part of it we lock up to make sure that we can give this cash if it's required for the clients. We also lend money. So for example, for the people who want to buy houses, we make money by doing so. So there is a lot of ways to work with the cash that we have. So where does my job come in? That's a lot of cash. So do I sit down in some big vault and count this £100 notes, £10 notes to make sure that this person gets £10 and this person gets £10? No, that's not what I do. We have systems to do that. What I do is I write programs to make sure that all the cash, all of these $600 billion are sitting in the right place. It's enough to pay our clients. It's enough to invest. It's enough to lend. It's enough for everything. My system constantly monitors all bank accounts that belongs to Goldman Sachs, and it's about 8,000 of bank accounts in about 50 currencies. I make sure that all of this cash is accounted for and works for us at any point of time in a real time. At any point, you can ask me, how much does Goldman Sachs have in this bank account? And I can tell you precisely to the penny how much. Also, I can tell you more. My algorithms predict how much money would bank need tomorrow and how much money would bank probably need in a month's time, so that our bank can plan this liquidity, this cash, how much it can lend, how much it can invest in the future to be able to still meet its obligations. Yeah, so as I mentioned, our system monitors any of this, and also if something happens, if I don't know, Donald Trump decides that doesn't want to trade with UK anymore, the whole financial market goes absolutely crazy. I have a monitoring. My systems will check and make sure, big alert, something happened. You need to do something about it. It's incredibly important system. And I'm there to make sure that everything works. But also, how do banks make sure that the money is safe? Banks don't store money just to store it. They protect it. They make sure that it's safe, and we stop bad guys from stealing the money using their hackers systems. So what do the banks do? First of all, we use very strong passwords, and sometimes we even call it multi-factor authentication. It means you don't need just one password. You need a password and a special keyword that changes every minute to make sure that you are authorized to move cash or take cash or do something else with our money. We use encryption. What does it mean? It means when I send another system a message to move the money, I don't just say it outright, because someone can listen to me and see, aha, she's doing something, maybe I can take advantage of it. But we encrypt it. It's like using a special cryptic code in your messages with your friends. This way we make sure that our messaging and the money is safe. We also monitor, have a 24/7 monitoring. There is someone always working to make sure everything is working smoothly and safe. And also we use special security systems and firewalls and rules to make sure that the hackers can't enter our systems and steal the money. We also send a backup. Imagine there could be all sorts of disasters, not only necessarily just hackers, but there could be hurricanes and other natural disasters that can destroy the actual physical computer where this information sits. So we use worldwide distributed systems. There are computers across the globe having exactly the same information. If one fails, some other computer will give us the information back, so we never fail our obligation. So what happens if a hacker tries to hack a bank? Our systems will detect them, and then we will work with the police to make sure that these guys are caught. It's that simple. So let's do a very quick fun quiz. What do you think liquidity is?
Write in the chat what you think liquidity might mean. Having enough money to pay all of the customers.
That's right. Yeah, liquidity is all the cash that you have that you can use at any point. So what do you think banks do with our money when you give the money to the bank?
So somebody said invest it and protect it. Another person said invest it in things.
That's right, exactly. We make sure it's safe and we make sure it grows for you. And what do the banks do to protect your money?
Oh, somebody's put strong passwords, encryption.
Well done.
Bonds, somebody's put bonds. Another person has put multi-factor authentication.
That's right. Very good and secure authentication mechanisms.
Vaults.
Vaults, yes, that's right. We also save physical money too. And in fact, there are digital vaults too. So it's a system that allows to write how much money you have and has a protection on the read to make sure it's not stolen from there. So yeah, so the banks make sure that the money works for you. They are managing their money very carefully to make sure we never run out and you always can take your money back. We use very strong security systems. We use firewalls, we use encryption, we use multi-strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, very secure encryption algorithms to make sure it's safe. Right. Do you guys have any questions?
So we have one question, Anastasia.
Go
How
ahead.
did you get your job?
Well, I studied maths when I was in school. Then I went to university to study coding and information and technology. And then I went on to work as a young developer in a fintech company. And eventually I landed in the Goldman Sachs Bank. But essentially, yeah, I did maths in school. We didn't really have IT and coding in my school back in the days, and I learned coding in university.
So we've got one more question and then we'll wrap up the session. Are some banks safer than others?
Absolutely. Yes, there are regulators, so the governments regulate us and make sure that the bank meets all the standards. And if you go to a bank, you want to go to a bank that's recognized by your government and is being regulated by your government and backed up by your government.
Thank you
So,
so much, Anastasia. We're just going to finish off the Young Coders slides. As we've talked about, this year's theme is budgeting better, but why do we need you to do this competition? We need more coders and we need you because the ability to control technology is a very special skill and something that will get very important as you get older. Did you know that a lot of the jobs that you might be going for in the future don't even exist yet? That's just so strange to think about. By entering this competition and learning how to make a game, you will be on your way to being a super coder. So maybe this year you're making a game on Scratch. Maybe next year you're creating an app. And after that, who knows? Changing the world does sound pretty good though. And Anastasia is just an example of somebody who might be a judge on the competition. So you might think, oh, I'm making a game. I'm going to be judged by a gaming coder, but no, we have all different types of coders because we need code all over for every different thing that we use online. Just making sure that you are joining in on the competition if you would like to. Could you be the best coder at your school? Could you be the best coder in the country? Either way, make sure that you're getting involved. If you are interested, there is codingcompetition.org/register. Make sure that you're getting an adult to do that for you. But yeah, happy British Science Week, everybody, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend as well. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much, Anastasia, for teaching us.
thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you.